Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, and I welcome you to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment, once more for another Rapido Fuego review of a film that has been out on premium VOD, and I specify it like that because of the fact that Mulan was set to be released theatrically here in North America, had already seen international audiences, at least to a short degree, before all the Rona nastiness destroyed 2020 for us, and I finally got the chance to see it. I did not spend $30 to watch it on premium Disney Plus VOD. So yeah, I'm just going to specify that and put that right out. That I had somebody who had already purchased it, and I got to see it through them. And so right off the bat, I like this movie. I actually really like this movie. Now, I've seen a lot of people just polarizingly praising it or talking some mad shizzle about it, and I think really the people who are just proclaiming the most crass trash and just hating on this movie are the ones who have this just heartfelt affinity for the original property, the original animated film, and I have never seen that movie. I'm aware of it, but it was at a time where I was like, man, Disney's for kids, I don't give a crap, and then of course they reeled me back in slowly as years went on. But in like the mid to late 90s, when Disney was doing stuff like Mulan and Lilo and Stitch, the Hercules, Emperor's New Groove, I think one of the last Disney films I saw in theaters was the first Pixar film, which was Toy Story, and I loved that. But that's when I was becoming like, you know, I was going into my teenage years and Disney just wasn't cool, and so for that reason, I don't need to have a dragon voiced by Eddie Murphy for comic relief. I don't need all of the songs. I don't even know any of the songs. So I came into this with just a very neutral impression, and I was very impressed with Mulan. You know, the cast is staggeringly great, from Donnie Yen to, I mean, I thought Jason Scott Lee as the villain, or one of the villains, is terrific. Who else? Jet Li in a smaller role as the Emperor, and the newcomer, whose name eludes me, but yeah, she was terrific as our lead, the title character. So I really dug Mulan, you know. I thought as the first PG-13 Disney live action, and I've been really hit and miss with these Disney live actions, whereas I loved Cinderella, and I actually really dug Aladdin much more so than I was anticipating. I wasn't so hot on Beauty and the Beast. I really didn't like The Lion King. Jungle Book was okay, you know, so they've been very much like, you know, hit and miss. I haven't watched Lady and the Tramp yet. Actually, really, the Glenn Close, the 101 Dalmatians, the one that was before this whole just forge forward and adapt live as many properties as possible. I thought that both 101 and 102, Glenn Close, Jeff Daniels, I thought those were good. So this, though, it brought awesome action. It was beautifully shot. Performances were terrific. Costuming was great. So really, in that regard, I was impressed. Now, I know the purists who I've spoken with, shout out to my buddy Cecil Laird, my cohort in Crime on the Horror Show, basically he was like, well, doesn't she show up with, like, she has powers like right away, and that's not the case in the animated film, you know? And I'm like, well, yes, she does have, she's gifted right away, but I really don't think it did any hindrance to the narrative. You know, really, for me, the most important aspect of this film was the fact that women were subjugated, and they were supposed to be matched up and just be housewives and, you know, just subservient, kind of, you know, hiding in the background, as opposed to actually being warriors and being strong. And those themes are very firm within this film, and they are put forward in, for me at least, especially being a man, in a very compelling fashion. And I rooted for Mulan, and I didn't necessarily think the weird love story kind of thing was odd or anything of that nature. I thought it was very tastefully put together, and I mean, at this point, I'm very curious to watch the animated film and compare it, and perhaps I will do that at some point in the near future and just give my thoughts on the animated versus the live action. But I mean, the biggest thing that I have to impart about this, because as I've said, costuming, action, performances, score, everything I thought was top notch and very well done. I mean, this is probably in the Enfuego, or excuse me, not the Enfuego, the Certified Fuego, you know, just sort of territory. The thing that I have to muse on a little bit, though, is just the tough just journey that this film has had, because $200 million budget, and that's not even including the marketing, which usually doubles down and makes the actual cost that Disney has put together behind this film probably in the range of $350 to $400 million. And then we all know what happened this year. And so the current box office gross is sitting at less than $65 million, which is crazy to me, especially for a property that a lot of people thought was going to perform especially well internationally, in Eastern Asia, various parts of Europe. This was a film a lot of people thought was going to crush, and yet it has been released theatrically in a lot of those places, most notably China, where there's been a lot of controversy about this film, certain regions of the country where they decided to film it, and also the fact that our lead actress made some comments about Hong Kong, and that's just a whole other can of worms I'm not trying to get into here. I know that there's a lot of social and political stuff as far as just taking over acquisitions, all that stuff, but that's not what this is about. So the film has had just a tough time trying to find not only its audience but also just get people to respect it, whether it's those who cling so tightly to the original film, whether it's the area of the country where it was hoping, the area of the planet where it was hoping to really perform well, and them just being, kind of ho-hum about it. The critics have been also similarly polarizing, as I mentioned. I've seen publications, I think THR praised it as being the best Disney adaptation ever, which especially having not seen it yet, I was like, damn, that's a bold proclamation. And yet I've seen others hate brigade it, and I really think that does boil down to those who just have that affinity for the original animated version. But I choose not to read full-on reviews before doing one of my own. I will read a headline though, I'll read a tweet, and so I take that into consideration. But as far as story, yes, it's a it's a gender bender sort of situation. It's like Tootsie Backwards. It's like that oh boy, the one with Jonathan Brandis, I think, where what was it? Ladybugs, was that the one where he dressed up as the girl so he could go play soccer or whatever. Anyway, it's that sort of situation where Mulan is she's supposed to be paired with somebody, and yet she has these adept fighting skills, and she has this loving father who just respects her abilities but wants her to just do the traditional, the expected thing within their culture, and she's hesitant but willing until this war is ravaging and the country is being decimated by these dark forces, so to speak. And she leaves in the cover of night, steals her father's armor, and decides to go enlist, calling herself a man, and become a fighter. She forms friendships. To be fair, it's really kind of basic books sort of stuff in that situation, but the friendships that she forges, the bravery that she shows, and also in coming into contact with this transformative witch of sorts. I don't recall the name of the character, but her interactions between the two of them, this older outcast woman who basically decided to do what Mulan did after being shunned and just fully embrace it, but yet find herself in league with other evil people like Jason Scott Lee's villain, who was in, ironically enough, that live-action Disney Jungle Book in the 90s that I remember seeing in theaters, and he was great in that as the adult Mowgli. But yeah, so this older woman is almost enticing and tempting Mulan at one particular point. There's a pivotal scene with an arrow that's really dope and just basically puts into motion her revealing herself as who she actually is, despite knowing the consequences, despite knowing that, this sort of treachery, it borders on either, exile or, in other situations of the more extremity, death. And so I thought, really, just her embracing herself, gaining respect. These are really, they're basic themes, but they are transcendent, important themes, and I dug Mulan at the end of the day. Now, the box office that I mentioned, which is less than $65 million compared to the $200 million budget, not including marketing, that doesn't factor in how much this has made on the Disney Plus premium VOD format, where they're charging $30 a pop plus tax. So I don't know if the film is going to end up breaking even. It's going to be free to all audiences December 4th, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that one, but I know sometime in December it's going to be available for anybody spending the $6.99 to watch the new season of Mandalorian and Muppets and, you know, the Disney back catalog and stuff. So I hope that more people give this one a chance and stop just putting on those rose-colored glasses and just being ready to hate this movie, which is what I think a lot of those longtime fans of the property are kind of just ready and set for, because they wanted music, they wanted silly dragon sidekick comedy. I don't know, I guess I have to visit it, as I said earlier in this review, and give the animated Mulan a chance and do that comparison, give my insights on that. If you would like to see that review, please make mention of it in the comments, but hell, I'll probably do it anyway. But yes, I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 Fuego Fireballs, even if it is more like a 3.5, you know, and in those instances I have to just kind of side. It's better than bueno. I personally, for me, this was a Fuego film, and in that case, it's 4 out of 5, and it's certified Fuego. So I have been the aforementioned Jaime En Fuego. A grande gracias for joining me here and just listening briefly to my thoughts on this film. You can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. I just recently put up reviews of The Devil All the Time, which is a Netflix original. I also have recent reviews of Bill and Ted Face the Music, Tenet. I'm trying to cover new stuff. It's just a little tough sometimes. And then also Get Duped on Amazon Prime is the Shiznitto Bam Schnip Snap Schnit. I love that movie. If you like spectacular stuff though, jump over to The Horror Show at youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. We have a bonkers October all set up for you of all kinds of awesome content. We reviewed all of the Tremors films ahead of the release of Tremors 7, Ass Blaster Island, or whatever the hell they're calling it. And we do trailer reactions, video game, comic reviews, TV, I mean, all across the board. The spectacular extravaganza that is, we try to be as prolific on the internet as possible and on the YouTubies. Like, share, subscribe here. Greatly appreciated, y'all. And until the Reel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, cinemigos, constant readers, and viewers in this case alike, say thank you. But I am hopeful that we share more of this film palaver sooner rather than later. And until that instance occurs, stay home and watch more movies. Although, dare I say, I don't know if this one's worth $30 unless you get all your homies together. But hey, that's up to you.